Calling our pre-commission meeting to order at 8:02 a.m. Good to see everyone. This morning, we have our city attorney, Miss Amy Myers. She's online.
Morning.
Good morning. So she'll be here with us via audio. Of course, we have our agenda before us, but before jumping into our agenda, I want to give us an opportunity to discuss the concluding matters to our situation with Chief Ramey. Of course, all of us are aware that his hearing was on yesterday, and the concluding matters that came from that. We've also received the reprimand that, or have been notified of the reprimand that he received from city manager, being 25 days of suspension without pay, beginning, that's effective today, or end of business yesterday, but, going into effect today. And so I know back in March, we had talked about, and I think took a vote on allowing, due process before some action was taken on behalf of the city. And so that ended on yesterday with his hearing yesterday morning. Of course, again, city manager followed up with her reprimand. So I know we'll be probably getting some feedback from the community and such. I've gotten, I think, 2 emails in regards to it, followed up on those. Certainly, I know there's social media posts and things of that nature, but in regards to, direct contact regarding yesterday's hearing and city manager's reprimand, has got a couple of emails about that. So I've followed up on that. And one individual just, after corresponding with them, just wanted to ensure that there was, that this was being taken seriously. And, what they asked for was something that the courts are already covering anyway. They might not have been aware of that. So just making them aware that what we're hoping we would do is something that the courts has already, it's one of their stipulations as well. So that citizen was satisfied with that's being covered in that manner. So, of course, as a commission, as Ms. Myers has explained to us recently, that we have no, that this matter doesn't fall on our purview to, accept or not accept the reprimand that has been given to, Chief Ramey. That is something that falls under the city manager with his employment. However, at this time, as a commission, would like to give us the opportunity that if you are not in agreement with the city manager's reprimand, this would be a time to, make that expression. If you're in agreement with it, if you still express, that's fine. But for those that may not be in agreement with it, don't want us to feel like anybody's trying to stifle, anybody's, thoughts. So if there's someone that's not in agreement with it, then you can speak at this time.
Well, this will be no surprise. I don't agree with it. I know the city manager knows that. I've expressed that to her. Yeah, I know we brought up we wanted to wait, which we didn't need to wait, because the HR attorney said, based on the civil citation and the prior history, city manager could have taken action then. But yeah, I wholeheartedly disagree with it. I don't think it's right. I think Ramey has a history of bringing negative publicity to the city. I don't know how the others feel about that, but I'm of the opinion that I want to go back to what I did before, and I want to add to the agenda to censor the city manager. Basically, all that's saying is whether you approve or disapprove of a certain action the city manager took. And if you want to bring back censoring me, that's fine. I'll even second it if you want.
I won't say anything about censoring.
Well, I'm waiting on it. So.
Commissioner Ward, chill, man.
I'm good. I'm not upset.
What I'm saying is, you deflecting to me has nothing to do with what you're saying.
Right.
So,
No, I know last time I brought it up.
but we're not going to, I'm saying, let's not go down that road until that happens. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
I'm just saying.
So I
if
understand what
that
you're saying.
happens,
So I'm saying, I'm cool right now.
I am too.
But you targeting that at me, I'm not having anything to do with what you about to say, what you're censoring. So when we get to the agenda, we'll talk about that.
Okay, but the
Okay.
only reason I'm bringing it up is when I brought it up last time,
Okay.
the response was you wanted to censor me. I'm not saying whether you should do it or do it. That's going to be up to you.
And so what
I have no problem with
what
you
I'm
want-
saying is, okay, just chill.
I'm going to chill. I'm not upset.
You're not, but okay. So I will have one point of clarity, and I'm not disagreeing with anything, those are your thoughts. One point of clarity, which I think needs to be clear, and you and I have discussed this before, is that when this initially happened and we talked to our city attorney and our HR attorney, they advised us to withhold doing anything at that time, whenever this all came to light in February. So they advised us to withhold taking any action at that time based on the case itself. Chief Ramey, stated it was a medical condition, and so that would put us in a different line of, it would put us on a different pathway to resolving this issue. And so that was the advice we were giving initially, not that, hey, you can take immediate action. It was initially stated by Mr. Marcy and Mr. Obos that we should delay in taking action until everything is actually discovered and everything is ironed out. Now, later on, after we're on this path, then it was stated something differently.
Right.
So, but at that point, we'd already taken that path to wait until things concluded. So, just saying that for the record, I didn't want anyone to think that initially we were told that, hey, take action, and there was no action taken, when initially we were told withhold taking action, which is what we all had agreed to do. And essentially, we agreed to remove ourselves from the situation, allow the city manager and her staff to, move forward in what they needed to do from an HR perspective. So, but we'll come back to your censoring once we get to the actual agenda itself. Anyone else would like to express any, or you finish with your expression?
I just, I think there's enough there that I don't think he's the caliber of person that should be in that position. Now, that doesn't mean I think he's good at his job. I've never said that. I'm not trying to bash him, but from his past history, he's not the caliber person that should be in that position.
Okay. All right. Anyone else want to express any discontent with the city manager's reprimand of Chief Ricky Wright?
I think it should be noted that there's going to be in his letter of reprimand that any more actions would be an automatic termination.
I think so. Is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just wanted to, because that wasn't said earlier, so I just wanted to point that out. Because, I would say this: if 25 days suspension is like $9,000, so I don't know about you, but $9,000 is more than a slap on the wrist to me. I understand that that there's different opinions on what should have been done, but it's kind of hard to argue that based on the case, even the prosecutor himself agreed with the plea deal. So if I know that I initially voted to, I was in the minority of a vote earlier. So I felt like action should have been taken earlier. But once it got to the point that the court looked at it, it's going to be hard to say, hey, now that this has happened, the court has gotten together and said, no contest with no adjudication. Now we're going to fire him. I don't think that as much as people disagree, there's going to be people that disagree with it. I don't see how you can disagree with the court of law, because then you're saying that we know more than they do, and I just don't think that that's the case. I know there's a past of things that have happened, don't know what I'm trying to say here. I just wanted to point all that out. That's kind of my thoughts on the whole thing.
Anyone else?
Well, I'll just go after Sam, and his points are taken. Jamie, your points taken. I think summing up what you just said and what you said, Jamie, is that on the job, this guy does a good job, but his character was in question by one commissioner, and that's the point that he wants him to not be performing his job with the city of Lynn Haven anymore. City manager made the action swift upon adjudication. You have to live with that. You're putting yourself on the line, and it's now time will tell if anything comes out with Ricky in the future. You know, I stand with what you said as far as the court of law is concerned, and we're taking action immediately upon, the adjudication. So, that being said, it's just it puts you in a position where anything happens with said person in the future, you're putting your 3 votes on the line. That's a lot. That's a lot for you to go out and do. But you made a swift decision. He has a punishment, and I think time's going to tell. Anybody who, if things are as you say, sir, and his character's in question, it'll come out again.
It's already come out multiple times.
Yep, it'll come out again. But if you,
I think he's had enough.
well,
chances.
I do, I hear what you're saying. And I'm not giving deaf ears, but you can obviously tell you have one stand, I have another, and I'm supporting her decision.
Okay.
Okay, and it, but any future actions falls on her as well.
So all
I'll
I
leave
ask,
it at that.
all I ask is we put that to a vote. That's all I ask. I mean, that's fine.
That we have confidence in what she did or didn't
That's
do.
the censor vote. That's what basically the censor vote is, whether you approve or disapprove.
Well, I'll tell you
I know
right
we'll
now.
talk about that later. But
Well,
that's
I
all
have
ask.
confidence in what she did.
Right.
She has to live with that.
Yep. Yeah.
And we'll see. And
I just
time
think
will
we
tell.
should put that on the record when we vote on it.
We're talking about it right now.
I want on a record though.
All right, Commissioner Vandegrift, do you have any
You're taking minutes, aren't you?
thoughts?
There's a record of that.
I mean a formal vote.
Well, I don't always agree with any of y'all. I mean, at some point in time, I've disagreed with your position but I have to look at it as to moving the city forward. And I'll go on record to say, I do have confidence in Ms. Gaynor. I don't always agree, but we're a group of 5, and our primary responsibility is to make policy and handle the budget. I also am one not to go back. It's like when I was principal, I have a kid that came in because they were disrespectful that day. I wasn't going to go back and say, well, you were shooting spitballs 2 years ago. I wasn't here then with all the other stuff with Mr. Ramey. I'm dealing with right now, and as Sam said, it was dealt with in a court of law. So if the citizens of this town do not agree with what we're doing, there's an election in March. I'm up for election. If you don't agree with my stand of supporting the city manager, then that's an opportunity to voice your opinion. But I think on moving the city forward, we've been kind of stagnant lately because we've spent so much time discussing this issue. I'm ready to get my hands dirty. I'm at wet. I'm at busy, and move forward.
With that being said, we'll move to our consent agenda. Are there any Questions about consent agenda?
The lift station generator, this is a continuance? This guy,
Mr. Lightfoot.
this guy.
Yes, sir. So this is kind of just, I think we had one last meeting or the meeting before as well. There's just so many of our HMGP and CDBG grants out there that were approved from 2019 to the 2021 timeframe. Just, the bureaucracy and the red tape of the state for sure. So just, this is another one that we're extending to 2025. This project is already under construction. The generators are scheduled to be delivered in November. So it should be well completed before the deadline. But this will give us time to finish the construction and then do the closeout documents required by the state and the feds.
And these generators are gonna be at lift station.
Yes, so there's 4 of them, lift station 2, 3, 4, and 5. And lift station 2, which is right here on Illinois Avenue, is the only trailer mounted one. The others are all stationary.
And they're trailer mounted near houses.
Um,
Noise.
So they have the noise package on them, the insulated doors and everything. So they will be quiet when they run. Or, they will be quieter than normal when they run, right.
So we'll know when we hear from the neighbors.
Correct. You shouldn't hear any noise complaints. It's just like the ones we have at the water plants. The ones out here at City Hall have the noise package on them as well.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I could not pull up my agenda, so I was not prepared. No, I meant on my computer for me to read the supporting documentation.
So
Last night.
the
So
supporting
that's why.
documentation from this one is from the Florida Department of Emergency Management. It's their standard contract language. We don't write any of that. The state provides it to us to have our commission approve. And then once the commission approves, it authorizes the mayor to sign and execute it. And then the emergency management director will sign and execute it, and then we'll have it for official documentation.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions on consent agenda? Number 11, final reading of ordinance 1166. Of course, city attorney's has explained this to us already, which is us primarily just updating the language to be current in regards to the FEMA regulations. Anything else you'd like to say about ordinance 1166, Ms. Amy?
Nope, but I'll answer any questions you got.
Any questions for her?
It's just floodplain stuff, right? And it's
Yeah, so it's all driven by the update to the floodplain maps, which go into effect October 24th. So FEMA's representative has reviewed all of your codes, suggested some reorganization and some repeal, particularly with regard to the Florida Building Code local technical amendments. So it's a big document, but it doesn't actually change a lot.
Does this tie into is this in any way another step or point in our vulnerability study that's being finalized right now?
They're not.
They're not the
officially
same, I
related,
know.
but they will complement each other. Yes.
Okay.
All right, any other questions on number 11? All right, moving on to new business discussion and possible approval for the resolution amending chapter 70 of the fee schedule for our utility rates. Any questions on that one?
This is water, sewer, garbage, commercial and residential, right?
Residential water, it will be increased by 15 cents per 1,000 gallons. Commercial water volume by 15 cents per 1,000 gallons. Residential sewer volume by $1.57 per 1,000 gallons. And then commercial sewer by $3.75 per commercial gallons.
And no change to sanitation.
No change to sanitation, you're correct.
But aren't we taking an increase in commercial sanitation? Isn't the commercial people going up on their price?
well, as they go up on their prices, of course, that is adding additional businesses. That's the reason you'll see, when you see that go up, it's running about 52,000, about what they put in, but you've seen it go up to like 55, maybe 56, and
I don't
Commercial
know if y'all
sanitary.
were, the last time we did the contract, we went with Waste Pro.
that's right,
And we had Baldwin Container.
that's right.
Now, can you tell me with with Waste Pro's price increases for the coming year, whatever they're doing, that is it equal or is it more than what Baldwin Container was charging? Because me, as a commercial, user, the Waste Pro dumpster is way smaller than the Baldwin Container dumpster that we have. So cubic feet in the dumpster. I mean, it's what you hold. I mean,
That shouldn't have
I'd be willing.
Shouldn't have changed.
Oh well, it did. That's a smaller dumpster that we got back there, and that Waste Pro dumpster was taller and it had openings on the side, so it held more. I don't know what the name of the game is in the sanitation business, but the dumpster has that angled lid on it now. But I'm not going to take this down to just one account.
Sure.
But if these people are going up, Waste Pro's charging the increase that they can charge per contract. Is it the same? I mean, are they more expensive now than what Baldwin Container would be or was? Because we switch horses to say, hey, we're saving money. The city's saving money. That was our big point. Maybe I'm just because I've been around so long. I'm seeing.
I think what happened,
And why wouldn't we pass the increase on to the commercial customer if we're getting bid on the butt? So
I remember with Waste Pro and Baldwin, from what I can remember, we have to look at the minutes on it. Baldwin's contract submitted, as they came back and said, they submitted the wrong numbers. So the numbers they submitted was like $50,000 a month versus $50,000 annually. But staff couldn't go back and say, here's your submittal, your bid, and you need to change that. So that's
So one thing we need to know is that in every RFP that we do put an automatic. They can do a 3%. That was even in Baldwin Containers. They went up according to every year what that percentage rate was. So there's a 3%, just like water goes up with the county.
and they're going to take it.
Absolutely, we've already received that. Yeah, so all of it.
It's gas. It's
Yeah,
just-
and it
I
was
get
according to
They're gonna
them.
say- But now,
But that's what we-
are we spending more with them than we are with the last guy?
But with Baldwin, we didn't accept theirs because theirs was a different proposal. So as opposed to 52,000 a year, their proposal totaled like $500,000.
Yeah, they screwed up the
Well,
bid
they just
sheet.
Yeah.
messed up the application.
So that's why we didn't.
They would have been less.
I think
Yeah, but legally you can't do that. That's the thing, you can't.
I think kind of what you're getting at though is in the future it would be nice when we get the agenda package to little notes like that that says, hey, this is the price per year. But in their contract, they have put in a 3% increase, whereas this company has not.
Yeah, they did. That's in our bid docs.
Right.
Okay.
That even Baldwin did that. I mean, yeah, they did it as well.
All right,
So
well, I'm
that's-
saying just for us, since we're not
Okay, gotcha.
experts on contracts, it'd be nice to have like a little star with a little, hey, make sure you check this part out, just bring our eyes to it. And then also that increase, is the consumer taking that 3% increase or is the city eating it?
It's commercial, and I think the city's eating it. You guys are eating it. You're not passing along to the commercial customer.
So there'll be something to.
And that's something that we got to look at because, I mean, as a commercial account, I'd understand if my bill went up if the people charge more. I'm not asking for it to happen. I could go down a day on my pickup if it's too much, because I'd pay less based on getting picked up one less day. Not that I don't want bags of trash hanging around my dumpster because that's never a good thing. But I just think we
Have any other concerns
bed
been
with the wrong
voiced
dudes.
about Waste Pro?
That's the first I've
Have
heard.
we had any other concerns, Commissioner Vanderburg?
So no concerns, I mean, from, of course, you have people that, you know, hey, they missed my dumpster today, or something happened like that, of course, but we haven't had any concerns as far as, you know, reliability or anything with them. Of course, the pricing has always been the number one topic since, the RFP was done, last year before. And if you recall, we did have BCC like you discussed, and then when they turned in their new RFP, the pricing was messed up, and their RFP was disqualified for the way they filled the pricing sheet out.
But they'd have been cheaper.
We don't know
We don't
because they had it
Couldn't
incorrectly.
compare it.
So of course, the rates are different than what BCC was. However, it's the new rates that were the lowest rates for the RFP. BCC, every contract that I know the city has had the CPI language in it, where the provider can go up based upon the CPI. That's not determined by us, not determined by the vendor. It's determined by the national average. So that's what they are eligible to go up as part of their contract.
So no one's complained about their dumpster size changing?
We did have some issues where when they swapped the dumpsters, they did put the incorrect sizes. You know, they either put too large or too small, and
I'd like mine to be too large.
we can definitely look and see if they put the wrong dumpster at
Somebody
certain
can make a
locations.
call.
But
Yeah.
we did have some issues where the one business had an 8-yard, the business next door had a 4-yard, and they got swapped. So we had to swap those out, and that may be one of the issues you're talking about there. But again, with the pricing, every contract that we've had has the language where they can go up by the CPI, whatever it is that year, as long as they submit the letter and the information to the city.
Sanitation is like, we're always talking how good sanitation is in good shape and whatnot, but why not pass those increases along to the customer and keep sanitation doing good? Instead of sanitation falling behind because of the increase.
Definitely understand.
Yeah, so like what you're saying is why,
We're going up
Why-
on everything else, but we're not going up on commercial, we're not going up on commercial sanitation.
So instead
But
of
we're
us,
taking a almost 4% increase.
yeah,
So why should the city eat the money?
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
I'm turning on myself here, you
Yeah.
know, as a commercial
Yeah.
account,
Right.
but I'm looking out for the city.
Right.
In the fact that, you know, if the city takes a 4% increase, then the commercial customer should take a 4% increase.
yeah, the
You know
way
what I mean?
kind of the way I see it is like with taxes, for example, that's a percentage. So
Sure.
it takes care of
I mean,
itself.
we know,
But when it comes to enterprise funds, that's a service that the city is providing. You chose to move here and use our services. So
You pay for your
you pay
usage.
for the services that you get. So to me, I'm with you. I think that if it's a 4% increase, it should go to the consumer.
so with this resolution, you like to
let's
see
look,
maybe,
well, I mean, don't be willy-nilly, look at it and.
We can do
We can
an
provide
analysis.
the letter
Yeah.
that Waste Pro provides with their rate increases. We can put that as the documentation
Yeah.
and have
It's
the
a 3%.
same, at the budget workshops and everything for you all to discuss and vote on.
Exactly how much money are we talking about? Anybody have an idea?
So the
Yeah,
bill
I don't know what it
for,
would come down to on a
It's
bill.
4% of whatever they
it's
did?
3.36%.
3%, okay.
go up. So if your rate's X amount of dollars a month, it's gonna go up 3.36% in October for commercial use. How it is right now, it would be the city's portion goes up 3.36%. And then if you all decide at the budget workshops to pass that on, then the commercial would go up the 3.36% as well.
So does the way it works is the consumer pays the city and then the city pays.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. So
When Stephanie sends her bills out, we have our commercial rates that the city charges, and then at the end of the month, we write a check to Waste Pro that you all see on the warrant list, and that ranges from $50,000 to $57,000 a month on average.
and when is the contract back up for?
If I remember right, it's a 3-year contract with 2 options to renew, 2 1-year options to renew, I believe. Bobby, is that
It's 1 3-year option to renew. 1
1
3
3-year with the option to renew?
so to answer your question, if it's $50,000 to $57,000 a month, the cities would be paying about an extra $1,500 a
Yeah,
month.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're correct.
out of our pocket.
Out of our
Okay.
pocket. Yeah.
Unless you all decide at the budget workshops to pass that on to the commercial users.
And I can have it, we can do that analysis
Well,
and get it
isn't that
back
what
to
we're
you if
doing
you
now?
want to.
So you're asking,
Changing rates, right?
No, this is for the, this, well,
Water,
yeah.
water and sewer.
this is just water and sewer, this doesn't include the sanitation.
Right, but in it said no changes to sanitation,
Correct.
so if we were, we would be doing it now.
Yes,
Right.
we would actually go back on Monday, do an analysis, bring it to you on Tuesday,
Okay.
if that's what you
Cool.
would like.
Yes, that's,
So we'll look
Okay.
at, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can do that.
$18,000.
I was
Yes.
thinking we were talking about.
Yeah,
last year.
Yes, we'll do that.
so if you revise that
Yes,
to
sir.
include the increase in
Be somebody's
sanitation.
salary.
All right, number 13, discussion and possible approval for development order, multi-tenant shared infrastructure. Any questions on this one?
So if I understand this, is this just for stormwater retention?
Ms. Amanda?
Excuse me, yes. So the site that Circle K is hoping to go on, they submitted a development order. They're on the corner of 389 and 390. They did not have any stormwater facilities on their site plans when they submitted their development order. And so we were asking, where's the stormwater? And then we're told, well, the stormwater is being done for the whole parcel, not just the Circle K portion, but a bit like where Publix is and Aldi, that stormwater pond was designed for the total maximum impervious surface that could go on that commercial subdivision to accommodate sunnies and all of those. We didn't know what was going to go on there, but the stormwater pond was designed to accommodate everything. This is the same situation. So the owner of the whole of the property was the one who was designing the stormwater facilities for the entire parcel, and Circle K are just kind of tenants, and they're submitting the development order for their parcel. So they don't have stormwater on their site plans. So we need to have the stormwater brought to you, and the stormwater ponds need to be approved.
So there might be multiple businesses there.
Yes,
that all
there are
support
going to be others, but
that
these
stormwater.
ponds will be for everything.
Okay.
Yeah, and these have to be approved first.
When I looked at the diagram, are these ponds in the front? Like, are they along?
390,
They're along 390.
yes, sir.
Are they along, are they on the side of 390? Are they in the front or the back?
They're on the front of 390, and I believe that from what Jim Slanina from Panhandle Engineering was saying is they're doing that because when 390 is widened, if there are ponds there already, then FDOT has to design their ponds to accommodate that stormwater also. Whereas if they don't put the ponds there, then there could be potential issues in the future when they put the road in or something.
That's what I was thinking. Are they
Yeah.
gonna be in the way of the road expansion when it happens?
Yeah, but then FDOT will design when they put their ponds in, their ponds will take that capacity into their ponds.
Do we
Maybe the
have,
stormwater person can
I
explain
get,
that better.
no, I get it. So we're building something that's gonna come along and get tore up and,
In the future.
yep,
But
In the
but
near
if it was the building up there or the parking, that would get tore up.
some bureaucratic, that's some red tape on the baloney right there. Yep.
This piece of property is 389 and 390. Didn't we just deal with that several months ago?
Yeah, it
Piece of
was,
property? That either we annexed them into Lynn Haven or either we
They
changed it
changed
to
the
a
land
multi.
use, I believe.
Okay, mixed.
Yeah, I think they annexed in and had land
I
use
think
on
so
it.
too.
Yeah, last year.
That's gonna complete the corner of convenience stores.
Right.
Yeah,
We'll have a gas station, 1, 2, 3, and a
Yeah.
Dollar General.
and I remember the discussion, we were hoping they would build something that was, wait.
Is there gonna be a strip center with the?
Another
For now, all we
location.
know is that there's going to be the Circle K.
Remember
They
our
haven't
discussion
decided
about the
yet
gas
what
station.
is going to go on the rest
There
of
gonna
that
be a-
parcel. It could be more multifamily behind. There could be a little restaurant or something. We don't know. All they're designing it for is the impervious surface, the maximum impervious. And then any development orders, anybody that wants to put anything on there will come to you as a development order.
Amanda, do we have something similar like this in the city already? in terms of stormwater where
Yeah.
several,
Yeah, where Sunny's and Innovations are, that was done in the same way. That stormwater pond there was designed and put in to accommodate any future development. It was designed for the maximum capacity for a commercial. So basically, it won't really matter what, I mean, it will matter as far as whether you're all happy with it, but as far as the stormwater goes, that will have been taken care of.
So I guess two questions I have is, one, do we have to accept the stormwater plan? The reason I ask that is, and this leads to my second question, is it more beneficial to the city, what you're talking about, where it's next to 390 and they're gonna have to move it,
Putting it
right?
in the way.
And then the FDOT is gonna have to use some other property to do that. Would it be more beneficial to the city for that to happen, or would it be more beneficial for them to put the stormwater somewhere else? So whatever land that they're gonna put that, FDOT is gonna put that stormwater retention pond before, could be used for a business or something else that could bring in additional revenue to the city. I don't know the answer to that, it's just a question I have in my head.
I don't either. But it is, these are 100-year ponds too, the building?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
And if they put a building there, then the building would get torn down by FDOT.
That's true, too.
And FDOT might have to give them more money. I don't know if a building was torn down. I mean, but that's probably a legal question as to,
Okay. I just something I was thinking in my head, I'm not saying one way or the other, just, I don't know.
Speaking of just in general, in development orders, what's the time frame from when a development order is agreed upon to when they have to start building or show us?
1 year.
1 year.
I think it was 1 year, they were given with 2
Extensions.
extensions.
Yeah,
With extension.
Yeah, so we give them 2 extensions to allow them to continue to go under that initial development.
2
'Cause
6-month
I mean, in my head, I'm thinking of a couple of
We
development
did,
orders.
was it 2 6-month extensions?
Yeah, you changed that to where it
They
was
can
shorter.
choose a 3-month, a 6-month, or a
right.
12-month from what?
I think it can be up to a year, and then they're still grandfathered under whatever their original development order is. So if we go back and change stormwater to something else,
Right.
then they don't have to comply by the new changes under that development order.
For 1 year, and then they do. I think that's the way we worded it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for that second year.
Yeah,
And the third
if they
year.
go into the option phase of their development order, they'll have to eventually conform to the new.
Yeah. All right. And number 14, amendment to section 50103 for the UODC, accessory structures in residential land use districts. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, so is this basically saying that you don't want to allow these type of containers on the land?
What they're saying is they want for you all to decide whether you want to have storage containers, like we're talking shipping containers, in people's backyards to use as storage, because the way that our ordinances, our ULDC is worded now, we do not have any like restrictions other than setbacks, and can't be any more than 50% the size of the house. We don't have any like aesthetic or anything like that. And when you look in at building, because it will say, you know, can be built, when you look at building, it says building, but it says that can be placed on. So people bring sheds that are already built, you know, constructed off site, and they bring them on and they're allowed. And so now we've got a situation where people are saying, well, if they're allowed to bring something that looks like a shed, it's just in the aesthetics. If they can put that on, why can't we put a storage pod on? Why can't we put a shipping container on? So, and we're getting those questions now. So I'm concerned that we're going to start seeing people putting shipping containers next to your next door neighbours. I mean, is that a look you want for Lynn Haven? I don't think so, but that's up for you to decide.
So if this
The
gets
planning
approved, you won't be able to put shipping containers on your property.
Yeah, and you might want to have further discussion, you
Right.
know, or you might just be happy with what they recommended, but they wanted you to like think about it.
I think
So-
you allowed that for a little bit right after Hurricane Michael, And we saw a lot of those mini storage
Mini
right up
storage
front in their
temporarily.
garages and what have you. Some of them stayed, and we did get calls about, this has been here now for 3 years, and it's, it
So
doesn't.
Some
someone's
people
already,
use them while they're moving or something,
That's
you
true.
know.
so if someone's already using it like a storage shed, they get grandfathered in, or they have
They're
to
not supposed to use them. So when there was a post-disaster, you guys create like different rules, temporary rules, so that people can, obviously, they need to put their stuff somewhere. So that's a kind of a different situation, and you decide upon that when it happens. The code isn't for post-disaster, the code is for just regular.
Regular.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, since people may have already done this before this, do they get grandfathered
We've
in
told
after we
them
approve
no.
this?
We've told them no, but the society today is show me where it says that. I mean, it used to be enough when we would say no. The commission don't want this. Because I know before prior commissions didn't, city managers didn't, but because we don't actually have something in writing now, we've got a society now where people say, show me where it says that.
So even before this, they weren't supposed to use them as storage shed. We're just
Correct.
trying to clarify the language, so.
Yeah,
just wondering
no, they
if it's
weren't.
clear.
No,
Okay.
no.
So, and there's a difference between, I'm asking a question, is there a difference between the mini storage sheds and the shipping containers?
I don't know. That's the question. That's for you all to decide.
Well, I guess when I see shipping containers, like they're becoming almost like modular homes, where you can get one or two of the, almost like a single wide trailer in some sense. I mean, I have seen some of those in the county areas. They're using, the long shipping containers. And you go in and you fix it up. You can actually live in it. You can live in it. So that might be the new she shed thing is a shipping container versus the,
Man cave.
and it can be a man cave, child cave,
But we do have the what we voted on about a year ago that would make it to where they can't live in it anyways, right? What was that called? The unified, what was it? The one where that was like the big thing during the campaign, where people were for it or against it, with how we amended all of our codes based on what you could do, what you could and couldn't do.
Are you talking about the
International Property Maintenance Code? Yeah, that will cover that anyways.
well, that was the International Property Maintenance Code was actually, that is for after that's on. So
Right.
that isn't dictating that you
not for
can
new.
put. Yeah, that's not for a new building. That's for, if we go out there and they have a shipping container and we approve it, then we go out there and we, hey, do you have the proper electricity, et cetera. So it's for checking things that are already built structures. So not new structure.
And I will tell you that the mini and the big ones are something that are very prevalent in some of the other communities. If you ride around the city, they are sitting in people front of their garages. We just need something to say that is not allowed here in the city.
Right.
Or, yes, this is allowed in the city.
Could you do like a compromise and say it's allowed in your backyard?
That's what I was thinking.
Currently, we only allowed accessory structures in the side or rear yard. Nobody's supposed to have an accessory structure in front of their house.
So if we were to say it is considered an accessory structure, it would only be allowed in the back
Side and rear.
side.
If you decide that you want to consider that as an accessory structure, yeah.
Okay.
What if they're remodeling and, they have to move their furniture?
We don't have anything that says anything about that. So again, that is something that if you wanted to allow it for a certain period of time,
That's what I was getting
then
at.
you can direct us to do that.
Correct.
So, and this is something for us to discuss, so we're not obligated to vote on, expected necessarily to vote on this Tuesday. We could, but we don't necessarily have to, so we'll continue to review it and over the weekend and hear back from some of our residents and continue discussion on Tuesday as well. Because this does fall under the, the UODC and things that we have to take into consideration, like although we're looking at the particulars, again, what is the vision for Lynn Haven moving forward? What is the UODC issue? What is our vision moving forward? What do we want residences to look like moving forward? Yes, ma'am.
And one thing I wanted to also let you know is that whatever you decide, you would like the OLC to say, then that would be drawn up as an ordinance and would go back to the Planning Commission for a recommendation, and then it would come to you for the 2 readings and the public hearing.
So I would say keep that in mind as you're thinking over the weekend, like how does this fall into the future vision over the next 10, 15 years of what we're looking at for Lynn Haven? Because typically this comes to us maybe like a particular residence is asking for something. Hey, can I use this for an extended period of time, in my yard, et cetera, versus making it across the board for everyone. So just take those things into consideration. And then Commissioner Wark had new business that he wanted to add to the agenda.
Yep. I'll just say this. The shoe was on the other foot, and you guys wanted to present something to be added to the agenda, and I disagree with it. I would let you have it on there if I had a choice. So I asked that, please allow me to have this on the agenda.
All right, and what is it specifically that you want?
Censor this discussion and possible approval of censoring the city manager of actions on Chief Ramey.
All right, so we'll work on the language for that, but
Okay.
the essence, that's what you want. Okay. All right. Any discussion on that? All right. Any, so we'll add that to the agenda. Any other new business we need to discuss or just community issues that need to be discussed at this time?
Only thing, oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Okay.
The survey, I just wondered the status.
Yes, Mayor had asked me to give you guys an update
Okay.
after you finished. So the survey, you all looked at it, and then I had to go out and actually find a company that could put this that helped us to put the survey out and give us analytics so that you would be able to determine what residents are saying. And so I did find one, but I also had to get 3 quotes. And so I haven't heard from this last company. If I don't today, then I can go with the 2 quotes that I have. And then we've already
How much are we
met.
looking at?
This one for the first year is $7,000. So it's a lot. It's a huge job in terms of trying to get this out to every single resident. They're also going to do a QR code on the back of the bill so that people can just scan it, be able to take the survey. They're going to pull all the analytics together for us. They're going to help us push it out.
I have a hard time spending that much money to look at the comp plan, which is the overview anyway, when we should be working on our regulations.
And now we will have this now for 3 years. We will be
know
able.
where we need to put the work in. I mean, it's great and all, but I mean, put it out there in a fashion in which, yeah, we're gonna ask everybody, and then take the information that we get from the people, from asking people on their water bills and stuff.
I think, because city manager.
We have the way of doing that now without costing any money, right?
Yeah, we cannot, we're not the experts in pulling together all the responses and putting the analytics in place. You want really good information to make decisions, and that requires a little bit of research.
Don't need
And
that. I
so,
already know what we gotta do.
with that,
So I guess the question is, what is it that we're wanting from the survey? Because her and I did talk about
Yep.
this, where we talked about,
We're putting it to dollars, we're spending money for no damn reason.
right, so her and I did talk about this, where I was of the opinion, can we put a Google form or a Google Doc out there, everybody goes on, they click, Survey Monkey or something like that. So her and I did talk about, how does this look? And that's when she did explain that to get the information that she's believing we're wanting, then the Google Forms or Google Docs may not pull it together in a way to give us those analytics. So it's really, what are we wanting from the survey is the real question. I think, so we can provide direction on that before we do spend the $7,000.
and how many times are you going to do a survey in the next 3 years as well? because once we secure this company, which is a great company to have, I know Florida League of Cities uses them, a lot of municipalities use them. You can use this,
So is this only for the one survey, or we can use it multiple
you can use
times?
it multiple.
Is it really like unlimited surveys? Well, if we spend it, we need to get our money's worth. I've been sending out surveys every month.
Well, we can do the commercial garbage and,
Yeah.
there's your $7,000.
Save money, save money. Yeah. Don't save money to spend money, save money.
If we're going to do this, we want reliable data. And we want the citizens to be able to have confidence in whatever is returned. We don't want anybody to say, oh, that data has been manipulated by the city to say whatever we think it needs to be saying. We want it to be reliable. If we're going to do this and do it right, it's got to be reliable. And it's got to be interpreted, because there are a lot of questions on that form.
So,
We can take it out of your pay. How
I
about
missed the
that?
boat. I just missed the boat on this. I listened to the lecture. The guy talked about, we have a comp plan. We need a zoning map. We need to work on stuff, that's going to help plan our city better in zones. I think that's where the work is. But, if we got to go through all these steps and spend money,
But what if the citizens
I'll
don't
be
want
the,
zoning?
I'll be the
That's
quiet
one of the
objector.
questions. No, you've got a good point.
Yeah.
Money's money.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I think,
We're embarking on
so I guess the question is, do we want to still
Don't
use the
chase our
survey,
tail.
the survey as a form of input from the citizens? Because that's how the survey came about
I
was,
get it.
you know,
Get it.
do we?
You want
that
to
was
give
a form
everybody
of
a say, but we're gonna spend money to do it at the end of the day, and then we're gonna get to working on our zoning and stuff like that.
You'll find out from this survey whether or not citizens even want zoning and a couple other things.
After we spend, it'll be $8,000. Watch.
on the questionnaire. And the beginning of it, you have, it says purpose. But in actuality, is that the wording from, is that the vision statement? Do you think we need to clarify that that is the present vision statement?
Yes, sure.
Because, we might revise the vision statement.
Sure.
Our priorities might shift, but people need to know that presently, we've been operating under that vision statement. Another question I had for the one that on the miles away, the question about going so many miles away.
To get certain
Yeah, what was the
services.
purpose of that? I can see 4 to 5 miles because that would be within Lynn Haven. Do we want to know if people go out of our city?
And what we're lacking in terms of how they utilize our city and then where
But
else would they go?
I wouldn't go 40 or 50 miles to eat at a restaurant, though. I'm just making a silly point.
Definitely going less than a mile to get to a gas station.
Well, you don't even, some places, you don't even have to go a block.
Yeah.
Or fried chicken. Is there a way to do a test survey without paying the $7,000 yet to see if it's even worth spending? You see what I'm saying? Because then we can see how many people respond to it. Because if we were to put out, I just feel like if we want citizens to be heard, but if we spent like $7,000 for a survey and then we get like 75 responses,
Well, I guess the question is, how many citizens, based on our demographics, are going to be responding to a survey? This, this really may be more targeted towards our social media driven citizens, or
Yeah, so
Younger
one of the
generation.
things about the survey is that you don't want everyone filling it out. I think that citizens don't want
You wanna
people who
target
live in
the right-
live in another city to be determining
Right, I
how they are in the next
I guess
10 years.
I think we understand that, but to Sam's question is, from this, like, we represent the demographics of Lynn Haven. So how many of us would actually fill out that particular, if we're sending it out to 10,000 households with only 100 respond, have we really gotten our $7,000 money's worth out of doing the survey route, like how many people can actually respond to the survey. Even with the QR code, how many of our citizens are gonna pick up the phone and then scan the QR code to do it? I think, is that what you're,
Correct.
like, is there a way to actually see
Yeah.
who's gonna?
I'm conflicted because I know that a survey is extremely important, but to Commissioner Perno's point, $7,000 is a lot of money to get something for just our vision. If we were using it now, if we were to use this to get into like the regulations and stuff, that's cool. But at the same time, that's kind of our job as the commission, anyways, to come up with those kind of things. So I'm kind of conflicted on this because survey equals good. $7,000 for a survey. I don't know if I'm sold on that.
All right, so we don't have to do the survey. We can strike the survey. Again, it was just to get input from citizens. So we can do our old fashioned, which is continue to talk to our citizens, gather that intel, host a town hall, however you all want to do that. So the city manager just needs direct and staff on what we want them to do. So
I just went out, got the information,
Yeah.
did put the survey together, and just need for you to tell me what
You did your version of a survey. You figured out how much it would cost.
Well, part of the problem with doing it this way is you're gonna have the same old people involved. I don't mean that old people. I meant the 500 people that go to the website or look, follow the city. We want to give everybody an opportunity. So when you mail something out on the water bill, and it says we're looking, or the monthly newsletter, we're looking for information, please, or
Yeah. But on the flip
and
side,
I thought we have to involve the citizens. That's a requirement. from
Absolutely.
the
And then the other
state.
part of that too is, we are not just like doing the website or any of those things. Remember, we have a program that we can reach every single one of our citizens through Tyler Notify. So they would have gotten a link that they would click on either through text or email, and then they would fill it out and submit it. So it would go to them. It's just like when you get these notifications about a road closure sometimes, or an event, or any of those things. That's how we would reach the majority. And so in research, you decide how much you want to, how many responses you want back. If we say we have really about 8,900 household, although we have 10,700 accounts, have about 8,900, 9,000 households, do we want a 1%, we want a 10% response of that? So that's usually the way research go. If you get a 10% response, you're doing absolutely amazing. 5% is normally where you will be at that. Okay.
So I guess then, if we're just looking for 1,000 responses, could we generate 1,000 responses without spending the $7,000?
Correct.
I guess is the question. If that's what we're looking at.
I don't know how you do that.
just send out a Tyler Notify with a random survey and see how many people respond.
Then where does the responses go? And
It doesn't really matter what the responses are. We just want to see how many people respond.
Yeah, I think if we just do a tip, because we're saying the company won't allow us to do a tip from. So if we send out a Tyler Notify, just see who tabulating how many people respond. So
you mean respond or look at, because we can do that. I mean, we have data that knows that how many people receive it, how many people open it. Stephanie has all of that data there.
Like if we were to do a Tyler Notify
They
that
can't,
says
they can't reply back why or in.
You-
Can us know?
you could just send out, you can make a survey monkey that literally says, hey, are you interested in filling out a survey for the UDLC? And send a link in the Tyler Notify, and then they'll respond with that. And if we get over 1,000 responses,
Can we do
Cool.
that with that one? I'm not sure if
So we recently just created a submission form on our website for paperless billing. So as you guys are discussing this, we could send out a Tyler Notified to a link and have a submission form on the website that says, would you be willing to participate in the survey going forward, yes or no? And we can see how many responses that gets.
that would be
When
excellent.
they fill that out, it goes to right now csr@cityoflynnhaven.com. We can create another email that it would go to, or that would be fine. And we can just kind of calculate that way.
That would be excellent.
I just want to ask you, one of my concerns is,
We need your help.
are people going to know the difference between zoning and land use? If they decide they want zoning, land use doesn't go away because it's state required. We have to have a future land use map. So even if we get zoning, we're going to have land use. How many people out there understand the difference between zoning and future land use? That's my concern.
Anybody who
Question.
wants to change land use would know what would know what zone they were in and what the land uses would be.
But the majority
It would
of
make it easier
people,
for us every time we get a land use.
That actually is on the survey, and it gives us a brief description of what a
whether
zone
they
is.
know.
Yeah, and then what flume is, and we have it.
Okay, because I didn't, on the one I saw, it wasn't on there. So that was my concern. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else before we go?
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up at the last pre-commission meeting, but I know we kind of ran out of time. I sent an email to the city manager about questions I had on the traffic safety policy and procedures. Y'all get that? I know what I'm talking about. Remember, when I was gone to New York, I sent you an email. I asked if you could forward it to the commissioners.
Yeah, the traffic say, I think you guys did it the moment when I responded the first time. I put that actually on everybody was on it.
Oh, I did get that
Yeah.
one. I think
Right.
in response to that.
Yeah.
You guys remember getting that?
It was a response, and then when I responded to the person who asked the questions, I put the
really
traffic safety.
All right. Would you mind sending that out again? I just want your input on what you think on the questions I asked.
Was it about Moat Island?
Yeah,
Yes,
well, that's how it spurred,
Started.
but yeah.
but it was attached to that response.
Okay.
Can you refresh my memory?
I asked
I remember
questions.
Moat Island's, but,
I asked questions about the procedure about installing speed bumps.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I guess let's see. Trying to see.
oh, is that the one they were talking about different kinds of speed bumps?
That's exactly
Speed
right. You all
bumps and
did.
speed humps and
That one,
and
okay,
the
I
process
did.
to get approved and things like
Yeah,
that.
And
okay.
you all did talk about it in this meeting here about the difference in the procedure.
Yeah.
I told you about the fact that we don't just go out and put up stop signs. That is something that you all have to do, but stop signs, according to our guidelines, should not be used as traffic calming. There's a difference between speed bumps and speed
Yeah.
humps.
Is there
Remember that
still an
conversation?
issue?
I just want to get a second opinion before I say anything on it, what you thought. That's all.
Well, I can tell you what I thought, and I did follow with city manager on this, is putting clarity in the traffic guidelines or the traffic committee proposal, in that document. If this is the procedures that you all are following for speed humps versus speed bumps, right? If you're following these procedures for speed bumps, please update that documentation so that it'll be reflected in that, so that it won't be ambiguous as to can you do it, can you not do it, what's the procedure for that. So I did follow with her on that, and after the Moat Highlands meeting, to give her that clarity. So that was, my opinion. Not so much is it right or wrong as much as this needs to be in documentation so that we know their procedure. So that was my opinion on it.
Okay.
Now, whether or not we should have installed speed humps or speed bumps, I didn't get into that debate with her about it.
Right.
As much as,
That's not what I'm getting at. I'm getting at the process.
so I did. So I will say I did express my concerns about the process that is clear, because speed humps wasn't addressed, in that document. So can we add that to it? So I did follow up with her on
Well,
that.
if you read the introduction, it actually does.
Well, I'm saying the actual procedures. So,
Right. Well, right.
Yeah.
More specific procedures.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the email again, or
I'll forward it to you again. I don't have a problem with that.
because I know the Pacific's procedures outlined.
when are we gonna talk about this again? Once we have the
Next
email?
pre-commission meeting.
Next
I mean, it's not critical. It's not like it's, oh my God, we got to do this now.
Okay.
All right. Well, any other matters need to be discussed before we go? Meeting adjourned.